Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today in this video I am going to explain you all on 5 Scrum ceremonies. So what are those 5 Scrum ceremonies? Uh, in the Scrum we have different events. So those things I am going to explain in this video. So let's get inside the slides. Okay, so before I share what all are the 5 Scrum ceremonies, so I just want to give a quick quick background on about what is the Scrum. I have explained already in my previous slide. So Scrum is nothing but it's a framework, agile framework, which will be used for the product development, or which will be used to deliver the project in phases, different phases. We call it as a sprint. So please make a key please concentrate on these key terminologies while answering to the interview question or preparing on the Scrum ceremonies or Scrum. So you need to use all these key terminologies: Scrum, sprint, product owner, Scrum master. So backlog grooming session. So these are all some key terminologies which you need to memorize and which you need to use on daily basis. So what is sprint now? So sprint is nothing but it's a duration, it's a time box, it's a fixed length of time, or fixed length of time box on which team is going to deliver the product which the team has committed. Means you give a you note on the fixed length. So the time of sprint is fixed, the length of sprint is fixed, which cannot be changed. I mean to say, this every sprint duration will be it will be on 2 to 4 weeks per sprint. So it should not behind 4 week. Okay, if the sprint length is behind 4 week, so then we are not working in agile. And yeah, as I said, the sprint duration lies between 2 to 4 weeks of sprint. So some people can have for their product or their project 2 weeks of sprint, and a few of them can have 3 weeks of sprint, or if for larger project or a complex things, it can go till 4 weeks. So not beyond that. Okay, and each sprint is a combination of 5 different events, that is called Scrum ceremony. So what are those Scrum ceremonies? So these are all the below 5 Scrum ceremonies: backlog refinement session, sprint planning, daily Scrum, sprint review, and sprint retrospective. So these all 5 Scrum ceremonies or Scrum events, you can say. So you can definitely get one interview question when you are planning to attend for a Scrum Master interview. So interviewer may ask what all the 5 Scrum ceremonies are, what are the Scrum events. Can you please brief on this? So you need to explain on these 5 Scrum events. Okay. Okay. So before I move to next slide, please do subscribe to my channel if you are new to my channel, and do like and comment to my channel, and please support me for creating or making new videos on these technical things. Okay. Yeah. Let's move to the next topic. Now, what is backlog refinement? So, backlog refinement is one of the Scrum ceremony. As I said, it is the first ceremony, or some people will say it will come at the end of the event. But there is no harness stuff where, but it should happen in before sprint planning. Okay, when team goes for sprint planning, we should have refined the backlog session or backlog list. So, what is backlog? Backlog is nothing but it is a prioritized list of tasks, so on which team is going to work on. So backlog grooming session is it's an ongoing activity. This event is owned by product owner, and the product owner is the one who is going to, it's product owner's responsibility to drive this session. So in the what happens in backlog grooming session? So product owner come up with the prioritized list of tasks. So backlog mean nothing but it's a list of tasks. Okay, you can remember in this way. And how that list of tasks contains, it's a prioritized, means for stakeholder or a customer, what are the priority tasks the team is going to implement, or what are they are looking from so and so requirement. So that list will be owned by product owner, and product owner will come up with that list, and he will be going to explain, so this is what we are going to we are looking for, and which team is going to work on for upcoming sprint. So yeah, so this is owned by product owner. So at the same time, so if there are any non-valuable items, if there are any tasks which are not prioritized, or which are not going to add an value to the sprint or to the business, so in that case, such items should be removed during the backlog grooming session. But it's a product owner's responsibility. Okay, he has the full authority on controlling of this product backlog items. Now, next comes to who all are going to attend this session, or in this product backlog grooming session, who all are the attendees. Uh, as I said, it's PO's responsibility. So definitely product owner should be there. Then team is the backlog. Team is the backbone of Scrum, who are going to implement on the task. So development team is required, and then Scrum Master who facilitate all these Scrum events. It's Scrum Master duty, uh, who one should make sure that all the events, all the ceremonies are happening properly. And also, so give concentration here. What is the role of Scrum Master? One interviewer can ask, what is the role of Scrum Master in product backlog refinement session? So in that case, Scrum Master's duty is to make sure that team or development team members are understanding properly what the PO is explaining that requirement or not, whether the team and PO both are in sync or not. So these things, uh, as a Scrum Master, you need to make sure that the team understands the requirement properly, and they are going to work on that requirement. Okay. Yeah. So next, duration. How long the product backlog refinement will last for? So backlog refinement is the only one event, or only one ceremony which does not have a fixed or defined time. So it can last for one day, or it can last for more than that, or it can go less than that also. And there is no frequency also, means how often it can happen. Okay, so you remember that interviewer may can ask how long the backlog grooming session will happen. So in that case, you need to answer in this way, that there is no defined timeline for the backlog grooming session, but on daily basis, based on your experience, you can share your experience, like how long it happened for your team. So for, let's say for example, for me, 3 weeks sprint, so backlog grooming session I conduct for 4 hours. So, and sometimes if it requires it, I will ask also schedule a separate meeting where PO is going to explain or clarify all those requirements to the team. So team should have a proper clarifications on the requirement. So requirement is nothing but this list of the backlog items which they are going to work on. So one more thing here, what is so okay, next is sprint planning. Okay, so next event is sprint planning. So this event basically, it's a first event of the sprint, usually we say. But before that, backlog grooming session should happen. So what happens in sprint planning? During sprint planning, the entire team collaborates and discuss the high priority work, and they will come up with what are the tasks they are going to work on that particular sprint, and also they define the sprint goal. Okay, so this after PO explains the backlog items, and PO shares the prioritized list of tasks. From there, the team pulls the first priority of task into sprint backlog. So remember that here, sprint backlog, product backlog, and product increment, these are different. There is difference in these terminology. Okay, product backlog is a prioritized list of tasks which comes in product backlog, and from that first priority task will be pulled into sprint planning, and the team discuss on that item, and they will come up with a sprint goal. So these are the what these are all the tasks which the team is going to work on, and this is the sprint goal for that that task. And then they will add into sprint backlog the items from product backlog to they will add into sprint backlog. Now the scrum master role is to facilitate all these events. Again, as I said, what is the role of scrum master here? He should make sure that all the events happen properly, and the team are understanding the requirement properly, and make sure that they are ready to execute this sprint. Okay, so PO describes the product goal and product backlog to the team, and then the development team have a final say by saying that how much task or how much what is the amount of work they are going to take in that upcoming sprint, and what is the sprint goal. So this is been derived from the sprint planning. Okay, so now who all are the attendees for the sprint planning? The scrum team, scrum team is the backbone of scrum or backbone of the implementation, so they should be attending this, and the product owner and scrum master. And what is the outcome of this sprint planning meeting? The team defines the sprint goal, and they will have a final go or final say to explore or to disclose that these are the tasks we are going to work on this sprint. Now, how long it lasts for? What is the duration of sprint planning? So sprint planning is limited to max to 8 hours. Okay, so it should not beyond 8 hours. So what is the general thumb rule for sprint planning? So general thumb rule is it should have 2 hours per sprint. So let's say if you have 2 weeks of sprint, then your sprint planning will be 4 hours. If you have 4 weeks of sprint, then your sprint planning will be 8 hours. So this is the general thumb rule for sprint planning. Yeah, so let's move to the next event, daily scrum. So third event is daily scrum. Daily scrum even some people will call it as a stand-up call also. So what is the daily scrum, or what is the stand-up call? Basically here on daily basis the development team meets for 15 minutes or not more than that. Okay, the daily stand-up call should complete within 15 minutes. So team meets at common time zone on the same same timing on every day or a daily basis for 15 minutes, and they will discuss basically they will share their progress and how the team is progressing, or is team is on track to the sprint goal or not. So these things will be discussed in the daily stand-up call. So this is again the event driven by scrum master, or team also can drive themselves, but scrum master should be available in this call. And scrum master will ask 3 standard questions. So what are those 3 standard questions? What you have done yesterday, and what will you work, or what is the plan for today, and is there any blockers, or is there any issues, any impediments you are stuck with? So these 3 questions will be asked to each individuals in the daily stand-up call. And if there are any more technical clarifications is required, any doubt is there, so then that will be taken into a separate discussion after the stand-up call. Okay, yeah, let's move to the next slide. So next event is sprint review. What happens in sprint review? Basically in sprint review is nothing but after all developing all the tasks, prioritized list of tasks, the team came up with the team came up with the completed list of tasks, and they will be going to review with the stakeholders or the customers what they have developed so far in the sprint. Okay, during sprint review the scrum team demonstrate and discuss with the stakeholders on the task which they have delivered, or on the task which they have completed. Basically this can be a feedback session, and here primary purpose of the sprint review is to inspect and adapt. So just make a note on these terminologies. Okay, inspect and adapt. So basically when team is providing the demo to the customer will validate, or customer will look according to their criteria or according to their requirement, whether the team whatever they are demonstrating, is it meeting as per the requirement or not. Okay. And so yeah, this is what it happens in sprint review. And also adapt the product backlog with the feedback. So if the if the stakeholders are not happy, or if there is any feedback on the demonstration of the work which team has done, so team and PO, they will make a note on those feedback, and we will be adding those into product backlog as a feedback, and then the team will take up that into the upcoming sprint, and that will be an list of tasks for the next sprint. Okay. Now who all are the attendees for sprint review? So make sure that, so interviewer may ask these questions. Okay. Who all are attending the sprint review? What happens in sprint review? What is the outcome of sprint review? So outcome of sprint review is nothing but demonstrating on the task which team has committed, or whether are we met to the sprint goal which we have defined during the sprint planning. That is the outcome of sprint review. So when it comes to attendees, again, scrum master, scrum team, product owner, and users or customers and stakeholders. So this will be basically driven by development team, who are going to demonstrate on the task to the stakeholders. Now, what is the duration of sprint review? So, sprint review should not be beyond 4 hours. So, general thumb rule will be 1 hour per week of a sprint. So, if you have 2 week sprints, then 2 hours for the demo or a sprint review. Okay. Okay. So, before I move to next slide, I just want to share one thought on backlog grooming session. During backlog grooming session, product owner will come up with the acceptance criteria. So he will define what are the acceptance criteria for each product backlog or each stories. Okay. I wanted to just share that thing. Yeah, let's move to the next slide. So final or end, the last event in Scrum is sprint retrospective. Okay. So as the name suggests, as the name says, it's a basically it's a retro. Okay. Retro, what do you mean by retro? Retro is nothing but it's a feedback session, or you look back to your past sprint, how you have performed. So this is an event on which the process the team has followed during the sprint. Basically the team looks into what are the process and tools they have followed and how they have executed the sprint. So that will be discussed in the sprint retrospective. Again, there are three standard questions here in the retro, which Scrum Master will be asking to the individuals by saying, what are those three standard questions? In retro, basically these things will be discussed. What went well? So, or what went right? So, let's say we have 3 weeks of sprint, and all the events happened, and the demo is done, and we came to end of the session, or end of the event is retro. So in that, what went well for past 3 weeks in this sprint? What are the things that went well, and what did not go right, or what did not go right to the team, and what can be improved? So these are the different questions, three standard questions which will be discussed in the retro. So here again, interviewer can ask, can you share your real time experience, how you drive retrospective, or what are the techniques you use to run the retrospective event? So you can explain, or you can say that we use start, stop and continue, and there are different techniques we have to run the retro. So what start, stop and continue. So how this technique will be used in retro? So start means you start implementing, or you start making a habit of using the tools and process that helped to team in terms of delivering value to the sprint goal. So those things you start implement, you start getting on those things, and continue. So when it comes to continue, let's say in past sprint, if some tools or some technology or some methodology which help really in terms of deliverables to the product goal or the sprint goal, then you continue those practices. Basically, see, Scrum is a set of values and principles, so we need to stick to our basics, concentrate on your the way how you execute the task. And if those methodology or those basics and rules helped in terms of delivering value to the sprint, then definitely you continue those things. And when it comes to stop, so if something went wrong, so we need to stop those activity. We should not follow or we should not carry on to the next sprint. So these things you can explain. So make sure that the three standard questions: what went well, what did not go right, and what can be improved. So yeah, basically this is a feedback session. As I said, retro is a feedback session where you can look back to your past sprint, how it went, and you improve on that. Now, duration of the retro. So sprint retrospectives are limited to max 3 hours and 45 minutes per sprint. Okay, and who all are the attendees here? So attendees here: a scrum master, a team, and the stakeholders are PO. Okay, so yeah, this is about sprint retrospective. So with that we come to an end of session. So this is what I wanted to share today's video. So I hope you enjoyed my video. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe, like, and comment on my videos. That will definitely support me with the making new videos. So thank you for watching. Bye, take care. I will come up with next video. Please wait for that.